So, while you were in the Great White North this weekend...
I wasn't in the north. Atlanta is south of here.
Atlanta, Georgia is south of here.
That's where I was.
You were in Atlanta, Vancouver.
I was not in Atlanta, Vancouver. That doesn't even make any sense. I'm not even entirely sure there is an Atlanta, Vancouver.
There's an Atlanta in the USSR. Why couldn't there be in Vancouver?
I didn't say there couldn't be. I just said I didn't know there was.
You were there.
I was not.
Are we going to talk about wrestling?
You're right.
You're
right.
This week with our Canadian buddy.
Now, on the local
you guys do need to go back to high school and learn some geography.
Wonderful geography.
Oh, I am too. I power squared.
Geometry.
The right angle to the
geometry.
That's what I said.
Yes.
On the local scene,
3.
there's another promotion. I talk about TXW a lot, and I really love me some TXW. But I want to talk about another promotion called Nitro Wrestling. They're kind of a new kid on the block. They've got a lot of wrestlers I really like. In fact, they've got a big free show coming up this weekend at King's Collision Center on Old Callahan Drive in Knoxville. Now, the tag team champions, Phoenix Rising, new team, young team, very tough team, taking on some grizzled veterans in the Forsaken Angels Guild. You know the Forsaken Angels Guild, they've been, I'm pretty sure they've been Continental Tag Team Champions, pretty sure they've had the TXW Tag Team titles. You know, they're looking to add that Nitro Gold. Now, Phoenix Rising, it's a tough young team. Going to have a hard time against the savvy veterans.
It's really hard to overcome the veterans, multiple championships like that.
And a lot of times when you have the Forsaken Angels Guild, you have to deal with Violet Adams as well. I've wrestled Violet Adams. She put a beating on me.
Were you able to retain the women's title?
No. This was beyond my women's title reign. Actually,
Oh,
this was in Continental. She just apparently was not liking the way I was running things and challenged me to a match. I thought, it's a woman. I can take it. I was wrong. Violet Adams is an excellent technical wrestler.
I keep telling you, he was a terrible women's champion.
He was the #1 women's champion of
I'm
all
gonna break-
time.
I'm gonna break out-
The PWI 100 women. Not PWI, the Superstar 100 greatest women wrestlers. He was
Right.
#1. It's him and then Fabulous Moolah.
You know, Patrick, you should actually be kind of hurt by that. You're the #1 woman.
You kidding? To be compared to the Fabulous Moolah, she held the title longer than anybody.
So he's calling you a woman.
Superstar does extensive research. He was a woman in his brain at that time because of his head injury. You can't hold that against him.
Yeah.
It's like a chemical imbalance.
Canadians are terribly known to be just terrible
It's
sexists.
part of their tradition.
Look,
It is
I'm not Canadian, but I still hope that he didn't have a brain injury. It was because he knew that's who he could beat. So that's who he went to
Hey,
fight.
I had some tough opponents. I mean, really. The late, great Fire, brutal opponent. I mean, she took me to the limit several times.
Like the cheat.
A lot like that. Now, on to TXW. On August 27th of this month, they're bringing back the Rock and Wrestling Connection.
Wow.
They're going to have the band Chrome Molly playing at their show. Big Knoxville band, good rock music. There's not a lot of rock music these days compared to what
Rock
there
and
was.
wrestling is straight out of 1984. That's what made wrestling big.
It was the Cyndi Lauper, Captain Lou Albano, Roddy
Started
Piper.
Spiral. You got Hogan and Rocky. You had Cyndi Lauper having Lou Albano in her videos.
He was even in the Goonies Are Good Enough video.
That just started Spiral, and that that's it.
Everybody
Wrestling
loved the
big.
Goonies.
These are wonderful.
Everybody loved Captain Lou.
He was quite the rubber band face manager.
I almost went as Captain Lou to that 80s party I crashed this weekend.
You probably should have.
I said I just went as Perfect Pat circa 1990.
But that's actually
Well, that makes sense.
I wore my Zubaz, my Four Horsemen t-shirt.
From 96.
I was the life of that party. Diamonds are forever, my friend. And so was the sangria. You know, I texted you while you were up in your frozen wasteland.
Yes.
You know, I noticed it took a long time for him to get text. I think you text and then the telegrapher has to send it.
Oh yeah, once it crosses the border, there's a woman just pecking it out.
I'm impressed that you know Morse code so well. You just
Get it all, get it all, get it all.
your phone vibrates or something in that pattern.
I was not in Canada over the weekend.
Come on, buddy.
But where you need to be August 27th, don't go to Canada. Go to Jerry Tipton's tax office, lovely Knoxville, Tennessee. TXW Wrestling's going to be there. They're building up for Scramble for the Gold. 12 men, 4 briefcases, 1 ring.
It's going to be a big event. Maybe the biggest event Knoxville saw in quite a while.
You know, like I said, there's been so much happening at these events. There's been teams and friendships end at these events. Someone got fired as a result of one of these. Champions have been made.
There's a lot on the line. A lot on the line.
The money man Preston Tipton does a good job. You know, I admire him. He reminds me a lot of me back in the day. He's like more different me. Only he never wrestles women.
How about claims to be a cruiserweight?
He never had a significant headache.
Billy Marshall, the super cruiserweight, wrestles for them at times. He tips the scales at a remarkable 160 pounds. Yet he's almost the same size as the Demon.
He's an amazing man.
I'm actually thinking about going on the Super Cruiserweights diet program.
You know,
You
what
would make a good
were
super
you weighing at the time? 3 stones?
I remember back when I was weighing myself in stones to get down to cruiserweight level. I was also 17 hands high.
You know, you can use his measurements, the kilogram. And you can do what, 20 kilograms or something like that?
Yeah.
My measurement. Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, the metric system that you use.
Centigrade. It's like 9/5 time Fahrenheit, and you get the temperature.
Doing those blocks of 10 because Canadians can never count higher than 10. So they use blocks of 10 for everything.
That's like Europe.
Well, they are his masters. You know, it's like the European heavyweight champion is basically the world champion of Canada.
It's true. It's darn true.
It might be true, but I'm not from Canada. So it really doesn't have any bearing on me.
I'm also looking to get some information. There's an organization called Era Wrestling up in Scott County that my good friend John Diamond is a part of. Remember John Diamond?
Yes.
Of the Diamond Foundation. I was a part of the Diamond Foundation, you know. Yeah, John's an excellent manager. John reminds me a lot of classy Freddie Blassie, only not old.
Well, Freddie Blassie's one of the big 3 managers of all time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and I liked Slick. But when Slick took over Freddie Blassie's spot,
I mean, Slick, you can't compare it to classy Freddie Blassie. It's like comparing it to Canadian to American.
right? I mean, you know, D.H. Smith recently released from WWE. He's got Canadian ties. Yeah, he's son of the British Bulldog, grandson of Stu Hart.
He teared up when he read that this happened. That release
I didn't
upset
read it.
him.
You told me.
He was as red as his shirt. His face was that red.
Well, it's
He
not.
was outraged. He immediately fired off an angry text to Vince McMahon because he has Vince McMahon's number.
Well, if I had Vince McMahon's number, he'd be getting more than just an angry text.
See, that's how mad he is about his Canadian connection being added to the
No,
WWE.
that's not why.
That's
It'd
what
be
you
the
just
terrible.
said.
It would be the terribleness of his current promotion.
Speaking of Vince McMahon, we talked last week that Dana White had been at Titan Towers.
Yes.
Now, scuttlebutt is it was just a social visit.
Yes,
I don't
but
buy that.
But Dana White told him that he was some social and some business, but he wouldn't tell them what they talked about.
So it makes me curious. Dana White, the way he promotes UFC, is sort of like how wrestling used to. I mean, not necessarily there's storyline, but there's usually months of build up leading to these fights.
Right.
And boy, UFC's pretty successful on pay-per-view. Maybe Vince needs to go back and look at this. This is why I like the local level wrestling. You can get a continual storyline running. You look at the storyline we had in SECW. We had some great stuff going on there. My women's championship reign. The executive committee and their
I missed exactly.
power. struggle with that one guy that used to yell a lot that was on there.
Right.
Mick
What's that
impresses
guy?
him some week.
No.
Okay, fine.
It'd be a terrible idea.
Just the stuff we had going with the hardcore wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
We had a good tag team division. I mean, we basically had our own 4 horsemen in the form of the Powerses and the Riverses.
Well, I mean, we had the classic. We had right here. I mean, you can't get more old school than the Powers and River.
Yeah, I talked to Mike Powers not too long ago.
How's he doing?
Mike's good. He's
Good.
he and I talked. He's willing to come up this way and do some matches.
Good.
I have a feeling this area is primed for a hardcore SECW reunion tour.
Probably should be.
That would be pretty outstanding.
So that's all I'm going to say right now. I've talked at length to a few former SECW wrestlers. I'm not just talking about the superstar. I'm talking about specifically Mike Powers. And with Mike Powers, you get Jody Rivers. I don't think Chris and Deke are necessarily working right now.
Well,
And I'll go ahead. I'll say it right now. Let's say this hypothetical SECW reunion tour pans out. Let's say something happens. I'm going to go ahead and extend an open invitation to any of the old UWA guys. UWA had a great run up here back in the day.
oh yeah.
We kind of had our little feud with them, but when it came right down to it, UWA ran some good stuff. They had some good storyline. Really, the only bad thing I can say about them is they're building. They were just they were just in such a small facility.
Right.
It was hard to really get the whole high five. But man, they had an intimate relationship with their crowd.
True.
Okay, now if this comes back now, you're not going to go on another power trip, are you?
I can't guarantee that.
I mean, you could bring back the RPA. I think the RPA is prime.
The
Because I know you still have guys that work for you.
the RPA, we do business still in the area.
I saw one of your boys the other day, big muscular guy wearing some glasses,
Yeah,
eating bacon.
that's what he does.
If this starts up again, I don't know.
Look. All I'm saying is Patrick and some of the rest of the executive committee was having some money issues when I was not. They were selling their stocks to other people. I just happened to be
Oh God.
those other people. They didn't know it, of course, because they wouldn't sell everything.
I only hope
They did though.
that
It was
we
great.
can get the dancing one to come out of retirement, just to keep this guy in checks.
I think the
You know, he
dancing one,
He was
as long as certain
XO.
as
I
long
gotta admit, he
as
wasn't
long as
pretty
certain
XO.
yelling people aren't involved, I think the dancing one's ready to make his comeback.
I like I said, the dancing one made an excellent XO. He kept Patrick in line.
And I'll say
I was
this
told the
too.
dancing one ran things really.
He kind of did.
I would not confirm nor deny that.
But I'll say this too. I'm also about to open up talks with a guy that's well known in the area as a referee, the Spur, maybe making his comeback.
This is not the case.
And if an SECW reunion tour were to take place, not going to Knoxville. Don't want to step on anybody's toes there. There's great promotions in Knoxville. Not going, to place. I don't want to go to Jellicoe. I don't want to. Nothing against folks in Jellicoe, but y'all got Gym City wrestling up there. If SECW were to come back, hypothetically, maybe the Lake City Community Center.
That was
We may make a trip to Cumberland Gap High School.
One of your old footprints there at Lake City.
It was. We had some good times there.
You ran the town.
And
Terry Landell came and tried to run Lake City. He even brought in a former WWE superstar, and we still owned Lake City. So
that was the cutout of Steve Austin, wasn't it?
yeah,
Right.
yeah. When he brought a cardboard cutout, he advertised that Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to be there, and walked to the ring with a cardboard cutout.
If Vince had ever found out about that, he would have probably sued him for everything.
He probably
did.
should still.
Yeah, I would. I definitely would.
And Stone Cold never can just beat the crap out of it.
That'd be funny.
Stone Cold didn't take stuff like that very
He
much.
shouldn't.
Fans, like I said, there's a lot coming up, both locally and nationally. I encourage you all to go out, if you can, to King's Collision Center this weekend on Old Callahan Road. I don't know who's on the card outside of the Forsaken Angels Guild and Phoenix Rising, but I know that caliber of match would be worth going along
It'll
for.
be a good card. Hey, it's free. It's a free show.
Right, it's a big free show.
You're not going to get, you're not going to get, you can't beat that. It's just, it's like the free show I get every day when these two get off camera and fight constantly.
Sounds like somebody's trying to beat down the dwarf.
It does. I hope there's not the Shockmaster out there.
This is what I'm going to have to deal with over the coming weeks, probably, between these two.
But
Especially if he gets his RPA hypothetically going again.
I mean, hypothetical.
I don't want to. I don't even want to know that it's real right now.
Okay.
You're going to spoil my whole week.
on the
Just
27th,
dread and worry of what's going to happen.
on the 27th, I want to encourage you all to go out to TXW's Rock and Wrestling Connection. Chrome Molly's a good band. If you like rock music, you'll like Chrome Molly. If you like good wrestling, you'll like TXW. And let's be honest, the two go together like peaches and cheese. I mean, they're awesome together.
It's pretty good stuff. You wouldn't
So-
know about that. I'll eat that down south. None of that way up there stuff. Peaches won't.
Like lutefish. You like lutefish, right?
I don't even know what that is.
It's your national
Lutefish?
dish.
I don't know what that is.
But
I'm
fans,
assuming it's what they get it from the Arctic Sea.
it's possible.
I'm pretty sure everything above, like Chicago's the Arctic Sea.
Oh.
It's just worth.
You know, they don't have swimming pools.
It's
in
flowed
Canada.
down and frozen. That's why you're all covered in ice up there.
They do not have swimming pools in Canada.
It's hard to be neutral in this situation. I'm the neutral party here between these two.
I question how neutral you are. In this
I'm
whole
very
situation.
neutral.
Look at him, he's in the middle.
I get inside information from certain sources, like Eric Charles, who's neutral.
He's not neutral either. He's
He
the
told me he was
instigator in
neutral.
this whole thing.
He told me he was a neutral party in this.
You know what? You know what? The
He-
two.
he is
You know what?
working
That's
hard.
fine. That's fine. You know what? The two of you have your thing going on. That's fine. I'm gonna go find me some of my own people.
Oh, God.
Well, you mean
I'll
like
be back.
right now you're going to go find your own people?
Yes.
In the middle of the show?
Yes.
You don't think he's going to really do this RPA thing?
He's liable to. He's
God.
like I said, yeah, that big muscly guy with sunglasses and bacon.
We really don't need that guy around here. That guy's tough.
Yeah, that
Saw
worries.
him on the street.
That's okay. That's okay. I have a plan too. I'm going to make a phone call.
Well, the show's just collapsed, folks. I don't know what to do. I guess we're going to end the segment right here. Just be me otherwise. See you next week.